everyone, Vampire 218 here, bringing you another draft Pokemon Spotlight. Today I've chosen to look at Tyranitar, and looking at Tyranitar's stats, we won't be going over Mega Tyranitar, that'll be for a separate video. Looking over Tyranitar's stats, it has 100 HP, which is really good. This thing has the bulk to support it. Its defensive stats are 110 in defense and 100 in special defense, meaning that combining with that with the nice 100 HP, this thing has some bulk. This thing can take a hit or two. Its offensive stats are 134 in physical attack and 95 in special attack, meaning that this thing can be used on either side. It prefers to go physical, but I have seen special Tyranitar put in work. Its speed is 61, meaning it's leaving something to the imagination, but it's very much not horrible. This thing has the capacity to outspeed some mons. So, looking at its two abilities, the first one is Unnerve, which makes your opponent too scared to consume a berry, and Sandstream, which will set up the Sandstorm, much like the move, for 5 turns. Or if you're holding the item, the Smooth Rock, it'll be for 8 turns. So, looking at its typing, it is a Dark Rock type, meaning it is immune to Psychic, it resists Dark, Fire, Flying, Ghost, Normal, and Poison, is weak to Bug, Fairy, Grass, Ground, Steel, and Water, and is very weak to fighting. So overall, I mean, its typing is unique, but it's not anything good. It's weak to a lot of very common types. It's weak to Fairy, you know, other than Bug, all those moves like Fairy, Grass, Ground, Steel, Water, and Fighting, you're probably going to see at least one of those types on a draft team. Like, I mean, 4 of those mons are forming like 2 of the biggest cores in the thing with Grass, Fire, Water, Fairy, Dragon, Steel. So, I mean, this thing, while it can take a hit, it's going to be taking most often of super effective hits. So, going down to the moves that we learn, it gets Whirlpool, which is really interesting because you can use your Tyranitar to trap. You have Water Pulse, which, again, I prefer the Surf with that plus 30 power, because a 20% chance to burn, or to confuse, it's not that good. If it was 40%, sure, but you're giving up 30 power for that, so. We have access to T-Wave, Thunderfang, Thunderbolt, and Thunder, which is really interesting, and Thunder Punch. So, it's really interesting because, this thing has the electric moves to go on either side, as well as the electric support and Thunder Wave. That's really interesting. Superpower, great move, it lets us hit really hard physical fighting move, even though we lower attack and defense. Oh well. Stone Edge, it's our physical stone, or it's our physical rock stab move, really good. Stealth Rock, always good to be able to get those up. Smackdown can be quite good if you're going up against certain types of like levitators or whatnot. It has capacity, it has, potential. Shadow Claw, very good move to hit those psychic types and those other mons that are weak to Ghost. I forget what the other type is. Probably Ghost. I don't know. We have access to Rock Slide, a slightly more accurate, less damaging version of Rock Slide, of Rock Stone Edge. It's up to you whether you want to prioritize damage or accuracy. Rock Polish, always good to be able to get our abysmal speed up. Meaning that we'll probably outspeed at that point. Moving up, we have Pursuit Trap, always good. We have Power Up Punch to raise our physical, or to raise our attack, always good. Outrage to hit those dragons, again, great move. Iron Head, very good if we need to kill a fairy. So keep going up here. We have Ice Beam, Ice Fang, and Ice Punch, always good if we want to hit another a dragon or, a grass type. We have access to, the ice moves if we need them. Going up, we have Foul Play, which, I don't prefer running on this set. It's possible, though, so. We have Focus Blast if we wanted to go on the special side for the fighting moves. We have Flamethrower, Fire Blast, Fire Fang, Fire Punch for our fire moves. Always good to see, the good variety that we can go either or. And this is, again, if we needed the fire moves. We have EQ and Earth Power. Just really cementing the fact that this thing, while it really wants to be physical, it definitely can go special, and you should not underestimate it. It gets Dragon Dance, always good to set up, a speed boost and an attack boost. Dragon Claw and Dragon Pulse, I mean, I prefer the Outrage, but giving it the nice physical special idea there, just like we've been talking about. We have access to Dark Pulse, very good if you needed to hit something super effective for Dark. and has that nice effect to a chance to flinch. Plus, it's our stab move. And then, you know, the other one is Crunch, which is our physical version of that. And instead of flinching, we have a 20% chance to lower defense. And, you know, as we go up here, we have Brick Break, you know, never bad. Aqua Tail, Ancient Power, Aerial Ace. We have good moves, you know. Tyranitar's move pool is very vast, so it's very worth looking at. Now, moving right along down here, it's checks and counters. And there's actually going to be quite a bit more than these, but Fairy types, we get wrecked because we're a Dark type. Steel types, we get wrecked because we're a Rock type. Fighting types, they have priority and are usually faster. Physical defense, I mean, I don't agree with that. We have the stats to wall break, but going back up, I'll talk about more weaknesses we have. Water types, unless we're generally going to get outsped by everything, so you know, a water type can bring in a nice water move, take out half our health, and unless we're running electric type move, we're boned. Grass types, the same situation. We get boned unless we're running the coverage for those types. So it really is an issue for Tyranitar in the league, is that it has so many weaknesses, and it's very difficult to prep for all of them. Like, you know, we can have the coverage for grass in the fire move, and then that's your coverage for steel. But then we also have to run electric for water. We have to run something for ground, and then we have to run something for fairy or bug. So, you know, and then that's all our moves. So it really is an issue in its typing that it has just so many weaknesses. So, you know, you got to be very careful. It's in the OU tier, and I believe it is in the OU. It's in tier 1 or tier 2 in the GBA. I'm not positive, but that's exactly where it should be. This thing sets up sand. It's very good. I mean, it can hit hard, but it also, having that ability to set up sand is very important. And, you know, it puts in a lot of work. I've seen so many times sand just putting in, you know, immense work in League. Popping sashes, getting that passive damage, and also just boosting up other mons. Plus, it will, it raises your special defense stat by 1.5 on Tyranitar alone. So that 100 goes quite a bit up. So for items, there's quite a few. You know, we can run a choice scarf if we want to outspeed any of the choice items, to be honest, depending on what we want to do. We could run a smooth rock if we wanted to increase our sandstorm timer. We're not going to talk about megas, but you also could run an assault vest and just go pure special defense tank. We could run a Rocky helmet and go defensive tank. We could run leftovers and go, you know, just health. We could go life orb. We have options with this thing. This thing, it can go physical, it can go defensive, it can go anything it wants. It can go special. The only thing it really can't do very well is support, and that's just because it doesn't get the moves. You know, it can't really cleric, but it can do almost everything else. So I've been Vampire218, bringing you my draft Pokemon Spotlight on Tyranitar. If you like the video and you want to see more Pokemon Draft League content, please make sure to leave a like, share, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Bye!